my guest tonight once nearly had to marry a horse? Who do you think it is?
Is it dazzling Derek Nimmo, sizzling Susie Quattro, garish Gary Glitter, saucy Sue Pollard, or bewildered Bernie Clifton? Join your host, Michael Parkinson, and find out tonight on All Star Secrets.
Welcome. This is a show where we find out who knows most about the star secrets, the stars themselves, or in fact, the public. We've got 25 members of the public over there from Sevenoaks in Kent. The leader is Tony. Welcome. Every time you get a star secret correct tonight, you get £100 for the charity of your choice. Not on the first clue, though. Let's clear that up. Who was it, in fact, among you lot over there, who once nearly had to marry a horse? It could only be Sue Pollard. I reckon... Yeah, go on, tell us.
Well, the thing was, do you remember the first series of Heidi High? When we had the pantomime horse on the real horse, right?
Yes.
And there was poor old Partridge, threw his whiskey away and kept his banana because he couldn't believe what he saw. Well, I was in the back end of this pantomime horse. Everybody's secret dream, right? And there was, and Jeff Holland, who plays Spike, was in the front, you see. So it came to filming this particular sequence, and we were all in there, and he had this false head on and everything. And the director thought it might be a good idea if he just said, right, come and meet this real horse now, get acquainted, so, you know, you're not nervous. So he went up to Spike, he was
Where
going...
did you have to tuck your head? Where did you tuck your head?
Well, I'm coming to that.
Oh, all right.
I was opening Ray and had beans for breakfast, that's all I can say. Excuse me, Mother.
That's
so there we were. I thought you might. And I was going, oh, flipping it. Anyway, this horse came up and sniffing around Spike's nose, giving it all this, you know. And he was killing himself laughing, Jeff. And I was going, is it all right? Is it all right? What's happening? What's that? Couldn't see a thing at the back. So suddenly, it sniffed his way and you know, to almost loving a Spike. Came round the back, you see, and I thought, oh, God, he's coming round here now, this is it. I thought, get the rosary out, you know. Oh, mother job. So he came round here, you know, and I was going, oh, God, I'm going to die. I could just see it countdown, you know. Suddenly, I was exactly right. These two front legs, dear, on me back. I said, I had visions of knitting for 4 legs. God, I mean, God, climbed on. Oh, what a state. They were just killing themselves. I kept saying, get it off, get it off. I don't know, I couldn't care less what it was. I thought to myself, I don't know if it's a foal or not, just get it off me.
Things could only get worse from now on, and they're like it. Right, well done. It was a splendid story, and I'm glad you were not in full. Right, OK.
I haven't looked lately.
I'd have to go to the vet rather than the doctor. OK, now, this is for real now. This is where we start playing the game properly, as opposed to improperly. And this one is not as easy as it seems, actually. Which one of my guests made their film debut with Elvis Presley? And it's not as easy as you might imagine. It's not Susie, and we'll take the obvious one out first of all. I mean, Susie likely could have done that. Susie, who do you think it might be?
Right. It's not me. No, it can't be Bernie.
What?
Because... Oh, let me think. You're too old. No, it can't be Sue. No, it can't be you. Because I can see no connection. No.
You're not sitting where I'm sitting. I can see everything.
Okay.
Connections and everything.
See me after the show. It can't be... It can't be you. There's no connection there either. No.
Absolutely. No, I did see his very last performance in Las Vegas,
Did you?
but that doesn't count.
That doesn't count, no. I think it's got to be.
You think it's Gary?
It's got to be.
All right, you think it's Gary? Who do you think it is over there?
Well, we discussed it earlier on, and we believe the same, Gary Goodson.
You think it's Gary?
Yeah.
All right, £100 right then.
Yeah.
Who was it then who made his film debut with Elvis Presley? Gary Glitter, you're right.
There is absolutely no secret about the fact that Elvis is my hero. When I was a kid, I skived off. I tell you, I sort of elaborate on that because, in fact, I didn't actually share the performance with him. It was quite by accident. I skived off to the cinema. I was living in Sutton, in Surrey, and like a lot of kids always go off, at 1:30 in the afternoon to see the film Loving You, which was, I mean, I was 11 years of age. It was a great experience. And after about 3 days, my parents just couldn't find out where I was. They suddenly realized that it must be him going to the cinema every day because I'm playing Elvis records and so on. So I'm in the cinema and up, you know, when they put a message on the screen
That's
and
right.
you're sitting there, you know, and I'm getting on with the music, and there it was, Paul Gadd, get your backside home immediately.
Up there with Elvis Presley.
That's right.
Yeah. You used to scratch those messages, didn't they, on the
Yeah.
sort of places, stick them on the screen.
But I felt so thrilled about it. I mean, I was Jack the Lad after that, you know,
Cool
everybody,
stuff.
whoops, everybody at school, you know, thought, that's what I wanted to be. I
Were you
mean,
practicing the old lip and all that?
oh,
I
that
used
was,
to do
did you do that too?
I did that as well. He was also my
Always.
hero.
Did you?
In fact, I had a chance to meet him at Graceland.
Yeah.
He called my publicist, said because we did All Shook Up, the song, and he said it was the best version he'd heard since his own, and would I like to come to Graceland to meet him? And I said no.
Lucky you, I never
No,
got
but I
to
said
meet him.
no
He
because...
wasn't one of my heroes. It was more like Frank Sinatra for me. And the same for you too, I think, Derek, wasn't it? Although you were involved in the pop industry, weren't you?
Well, I was curious enough, really. Yes, I had managed an American singer called
The
Al
generation
Martino.
gap, Michael.
Al Martino. You remember Al Martino? He's alive. Yes.
Remember who?
Johnny Ray, Al Martino.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, I was their road manager. But then I started in about 26 years ago. There's a film came over called Rock Around the Clock. And this whole kind of rock and roll music with Bill Haley was totally new. So I formed the very first rock and roll band. in
Say
England.
rock and roll again.
Rock and roll.
Oh, I love it.
And if you remember, remember there was in this film, there was a song called See You Later, Alligator.
Oh, yeah.
To publicize the show, you see, because there was this song called See You Later, Alligator, I used to walk around with the sandwich boards on, saying, see you later, alligator, the Lyceum Theatre, Newport. And on my head, I got from the theatre zoo an alligator's head. And I used to be able to work it on a piece of string. And I go around saying, see you later, alligator, to rock and roll concerts. And I live with you done. So it's very unpleasant if you go around dressed as an alligator, because they put old chip packets in your mouth.
Of course, while these people were having this wonderful time, rock and rolling and dressed as alligators, you, like me, of course, Bernie, were serving king and country, weren't you?
Yeah, I was 11 as well, Gary.
Yeah.
Those
He was
times.
11. You were 11 at the time.
I was in the I was in the Royal Air Force at that time, and I don't know whether you were like this, Michael, but I became absolutely uncoordinated when I was struck with fear. Remember the little drill instructor? Anybody here in the National Service? Yes, quite a few.
There's a cat, too, Ed. On Oxford Street, and they used to make you walk in the gutter, and I got my paws wet.
Susie, I can't see anybody putting Susie in jail because she's too young and pretty and inoffensive. Gary could be cutting up bus seats for the suit, possibly. But I don't know. See, it's one of these two here. She could go to jail for what she's wearing just now. But I'd say Gary.
Gary, you reckon?
It's been a bit of a
all right. What do you reckon over there?
Well, we've got to disagree with you this time, Bernie, because we think it's got to be Sue after her pantomime.
You think it's Sue, all right?
You don't.
Either Sue or Gary, then. So who was it, then, who almost went to jail over a load of old rubbish?
Oh, it was me.
It was Derek. What was it?
Yeah, well, what happened was I'm a member of the Keep Britain Tidy campaign.
And proper
I'm
thing,
very
too.
keen on the whole thing. And it so happened I'd won a prize for the most beautiful window boxes in London. But I found the streets in Kensington where I live absolutely filthy.
Go quickly before we go into the break along the line about likes and dislikes. What do you dislike? What really upsets you?
There's one thing I hate. It's really ridiculous. I hate a man to wear socks in bed. Socks. A naked man with nothing but socks has got to be the ultimate turn-off.
Yes. I think I feel the same.
I can always tell when Lenny's angry with me because he comes into bed with his socks. He knows I'm not going to bother with him. Go ahead.
Gary, what about you?
Your turn.
What I hate most of all, I think, is shrill voices, you know, when especially birds, when they go, you know, Lawrence! Someone's all-
Dirty voice.
What about you, Sue? What
I
about
can't stand any kind of potted paste.
the potted paste?
Shrimp paste and... Oh, I flipping hate it. I'm sorry.
You do?
Whoever Mr. Shrimp was, well, that's it. Dreadful. I hate anything potted.
Bernie.
Simple. Two people that get a toothpaste tube, and instead of squeezing it from the bottom, you get up in the morning, you go in the bathroom, you're standing there nude, just your socks on. Give it away.
Okay, then, fine. You're going to the break, you've got 100 quid. Chance to win some more money after the break when we come back. Leave it with this thought. One of my guests once attended their own funeral. Who was it? Join me after the break and find out. See you in a minute. Welcome back. The burning question is, which one of the stars on show tonight once attended their own funeral? All right, I'll tell you for nothing that it's not Sue. Can't think why it's not Sue, but it's not Sue.
Oh, I hope I'm very much alive.
You are. So tell us, who do you think it might be who attended their own funeral?
I don't think it could be Gary, because they haven't yet made a coffin to fit his type of person. Knobs outside and
They
everything.
will.
I don't think, no, it can't be Susie, because she's got a lot of rocking to do yet, as they say. I don't know, but it could almost be Derek,
I look
actually,
fairly
because
funereal,
he looks
don't
like
I?
he's,
Yes.
died a few times and come back again. With all due, so it's very nice. Bless him.
I'm dressed like an undertaker too, really, myself.
Let me see.
Do you think it's Derek, do you?
No, I think it's Bernie.
You think it's Bernie, do you? All right,
do.
Bernie. Sue thinks it's Bernie. Tony, who do you think it is?
Well, we think Sue's wrong, and because Derek's got the black suit on, it's got to be him.
You think it's Derek,
Yeah,
do
he's
you?
got the suit
Oh,
on
for 100 quid then? All right,
that's
then.
what we
So
decide.
Sue or Derek, then who was it, in fact, who went to their own funeral? It was Gary Glitter. It's a nice trick question, I say, wasn't it? Because, I mean, you did, in fact, go.
I started out life as Paul Gadd, and I changed my name to Paul Raven. And I was Rubber Bucket, Horace Hydrogen, Vicky Vomit, Terry. I did so many different names. So that when I changed my name to Gary Glitter, out of sheer desperation after being in the record business for 12 years, I really wanted to get a hit. We decided that we would bury all the old records that were all didn't happen. And it was just outside the studios, actually, in the Thames. And we got on the boat, and there was Alan Freeman and a few other people around. And we stuck all the records in the coffin and said, right, this is it. Last orders, Paul Raven is going to die, which I felt terrible, because it's your own funeral. It's, something a bit... Well, so the coffin went overboard and did not sink. And there it is. So if there is a coffin going past up the Thames somewhere along, it's me.
You, in fact, talking about death, you, in fact, once serenaded a dead person, didn't you?
This is such a strange story because it's funny, and yet it's not funny. I come from a musical family, right? And we all,
Really?
Yeah. Couldn't you tell? I sing, you know.
A famous sister she
I
has.
scream for a living. No, we all used to do party pieces and all this, so like it's a big thing in our family. Everybody does their little songs and dances. Anyway, across the street from us, our neighbor, in the night, her husband had rolled off the bed and died, right? Story.
Was he wearing black socks?
That's probably why he died. So we woke up in the morning, and there was an ambulance there, and we said to my dad, what happened and all that? And he said, oh, poor Mr. Moke has died. We said, oh, my goodness. So I was about 11, and my sister was about 8. So I said, well, all right. And I turned to my little sister, and I said, listen, Mrs. Moke's husband's died, right? I said, here's what we're going to do. We're going to put on our flapper clothes. We had little flapper outfits, with the fringe and the feathers and beads. And I said, we're going to go over, this is absolutely true, and we're going to cheer her up, right? Because she must be feeling kind of sad. So we get all dressed up with all the makeup and the rouge and the dress and all that. We ring the doorbell. Can you imagine this lady? Answers the door, right? All tears and all that, and she opens the door. We can't say it without laughing. We said, wait, 5'2", eyes are blue. She went slam.
That's a wonderful story. I think you're marvelous to try. What about Sue? You once did an act on stage with a dead animal, didn't you?
Oh, it was awful tragic. It was in Aberdeen. And I can't don't work with dog acts. I've already, been beat by Jack Russell Opportunity Knocks. I thought, never again. So I was in Aberdeen, another flipping dog act. Poodles this time. And I was just about to come on, you see. Oh, and it wasn't funny, really. This poor man had 4 poodles. And all of a sudden, there was one with it. Shep, what are you doing? Shep, come on. Peter died, heart attack on stage in the middle of this.
Quid, all right. So think carefully. Who caused the flood when they switched on the electricity? Who caused the flood when they switched on the electricity? Now, I'll tell you, it's not Gary. So, Gary, who do you think it is?
Yeah, it's between the ladies, between the ladies.
Ladies.
What do you think,
I
then?
think, Susie,
Yes, dear.
it must be you.
All right. What do you reckon, Tony?
Well, thinking about it, Bernie's sitting there looking a bit too casual, so it's got to be him.
You think it's Bernard Clifton, all right? Bernard Clifton or
gotta be.
Susie? So who was it then who caused a flood when they switched on the electricity? Will the culprit stand up? It's your dead right. Go on.
Well, when I was a lad, before I did my national service and fell into the table with all the money, I used to work for St Helens Corporation. That's St Helens in Lancashire. That's where the M6 is cobbled.
Left my mother's cutlery set on the number 19 bus going to Bulwell. And then I got stuck in a dumb waiter's lift. And then I was playing the part of this very butch handmaiden in Aladdin in a sort of semi-pro production. Anyway, it was awful because I got my foot stuck in the rickshaw, you see. Couldn't get out. And I was panicked, so I piddled. Down the leg.
It seems to me there's a logical close to a show. I mean, having started with...
to anybody, you know,
Having
can't
started
it,
with
really?
Miss Pollard having a dreadful scene with a horse and now finishing with Miss Pollard piddling on stage, that to draw a conclusion over a veil of the events. I think that's the word, isn't it, Derek?
I
The
think
phrase?
that's a,
yes,
a
I
very
think so
good
too.
idea, yes.
All it remains for me to do, to cover my confusion, is to tell you that you've won £200 and to thank you for joining
Thank you
us.
very much.
£200 of charity of your choice. Thank you very much indeed. And to thank this shy retiring bunch over there, Mr. Derek Nimmo, thank you. Susie Quattro, Gary Glitter, Sue Pollard, and Bernie Clifton.